this session. And just one announcement ahead of starting the presentation. We are working with the Rue Institute in Portland, Maine. And I sent out a link to a business survey that they are attempting to, oops, wait a minute, just a second, that they're attempting to conduct in communities that they're working in. And for some reason or another, the link did not go through. So hold on just a second. Let me grab that link. And we're asking businesses in Ellsworth to fill this out so that we can work with them effectively to bring you folks what you need to support your small businesses and also to help inform the work that we're doing on building up our downtown grants program again this year. And then also we have another small business program that we'll be launching in another month. And this information from this survey will help inform us how to structure the program that we're launching. So thank you so much for taking the time to take that survey, and you will see things on social media too, directing folks next week to take the survey as well. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce James and Ken and allow them to introduce themselves to you, and then James will launch into the presentation. So Jim, take it away.
All right, thank you very much. I'm Jim Macomber. I work for Maine Stream Finance in Penquist. I've been with the organization for over 15 years. My primary position has always been business development. Been doing that, been recognized by the SBA a couple of times, but also now I do other things, financial coaching and helping people get ready to buy homes or deal with rental issues or things like that. But today's focus is going to be about the business side that we work on. And my partner in crime that does the Mid-Coast area is Ken Greenleaf. I think he's on the call with us.
He is here.
You there, Ken?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
What happened to my view option here? All right. My name is Ken Greenleaf. I do more or less the same thing that Jim does, but I do it. I have been doing it more in the Mid-Coast area, which we do business development, business loans, business counseling, and also we're spread around doing housing counseling and some other sort of stuff. Yeah, I've been doing this for about 10 years, which is a surprise. It's always a surprise when I think about it. But it's very rewarding work, and and I have a kind of a special direction with because my background is a little bit different. So, but we can get into that later.
All right, thank you, Ken. So I forget to mention, I cover Piscataquis, Penobscot, Washington, and Hancock counties are my main primary areas that I cover. So, of course, before the virus hit, I was on the road in all those areas, but now I'm based in Dover-Foxcroft. So, Car, what was the results of this poll that you took?
Sorry, I haven't put it out yet. Are you ready for me to launch into the poll first?
Sure.
All right, so we're going to launch a poll for you folks. The first question is, have you heard of Maine Stream Finance? And then the second question is, what does your business need help with? And then the last one is, are you aware of the following programs, which if you're not, both Ken and Jim are going to let you folks know about. There's some really great programs that I had no idea about either. So it's that are really great programs. So I'm kind of excited for you folks to all be on here today to learn from them, because I think that you'll grab some valuable information. Can everybody see the poll? Jim, are you able to see the poll?
I I see the poll.
Okay, and people are able to vote. It looks like people are voting. Okay.
Yeah, I can see it too,
Okay, great.
but I'm not
All
going to take it.
right.
Well, I hope you know the answer to the first one, Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think probably can answer them all, but
I think you can. So we'll give people just another minute or so to
Sure.
answer those questions. We get about 75% answered,
All
Cara.
right. Well, that's probably good. Here, let's share the, all right. So seems like only 50% of the people on here have heard of Maine Stream Finance. So
we're used to that.
yeah. Oh, well, that's good. That's familiar territory.
Yeah.
And it looks like people are mostly interested in expansion.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. That's 50%. And then the last one, we've got some people that are looking at exit strategies of selling the business. And then the following programs, it looks like most people are obviously familiar with the SBA microloan, the PPP, and the EIDL. And then the grants with SBDC and SBA and others. Looks like we've had 75% on both of those.
Good.
But yeah, people are looking for more information on the family development account, the debt relief, and the forgiveness, SBA forgiveness. So
Okay.
yeah, so I will
All right.
stop sharing the poll, and then we can launch into the next part of the program.
All right. So hopefully we'll increase your knowledge of Maine Stream Finance and what we do through this presentation. So quick intros. Ken and I have already kind of done that, but we'd also like to have a few people that are on the call do that as well. Just your name, your business or organization, your reason you came today. I think.
Right.
People can just unmute and introduce themselves.
I'm Chris Rector. I'm a regional representative for U.S. Senator Angus King, and I cover Knox, Waldo, Hancock, and Washington counties for him.
Thank you. Somebody else?
Hi, everybody. I'm Sonia Conley. I'm a community outreach coordinator for Healthy Acadia, and I support the businesses also as we're navigating COVID.
Thank you.
Betsy, you want to go next?
Hi, Betsy Arnson, therapeutic massage for wellness, clinical medical massage based in Ellsworth. And I'm supporting Ellsworth, Heart of Ellsworth, and also downtown Ellsworth, plus love to learn. So always interested in new topics.
Thank you.
Thanks, Betsy. Glenn Mosier, our city manager.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I couldn't find the mute button, but yeah, I'm Glenn Mosier, the city manager. And although I don't have a downtown business, I'm absolutely excited to learn about ways that you can possibly assist our businesses. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Linda.
Yes, hello everybody. I'm Linda Burgess. I work with KeyBank, but I used to be a small business owner myself before I came to work with KeyBank, and just recently joined the Heart of Ellsworth, and just trying to immerse myself in all of the knowledge that the Heart of Ellsworth is organizing for us folks here to take advantage of. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you for coming.
John Stein.
Hello, John Stein, owner of Fogtown Brewing Company, brewery right here in downtown Ellsworth, also vice president of Heart of Ellsworth.
Thank you very much.
And last, but definitely not least, Tom Beal.
I'm Tom Beal of Mac Revival and Archangel Computers downtown computer shop. Currently in the process, got a recent new hire and getting up to speed. And also we're working on expanding some services that we're able to provide here.
Thank you very much. We get everybody?
I think we did. Yep.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. So a little bit about who Maine Stream is. Maine Stream is a 20 years old now. Hard to believe that it's 20 years old. We are a division of Penquist, but we're a CDFI, so a community financial institution. We do a couple of different things. We do business lending and business education, assets and working on assets such as buying homes and home loans. And then we do a whole series of financial coaching with people. We've been doing that for the 20 years plus. We have a fairly good sized team that works within the Maine Stream department. Ken and I are the two business guys, the direct service one-on-one, but we also do the financial coaching and home buying education. So we're here, part of our job is to help people become bankable over time. So if they don't qualify for a traditional bank, we can work with them, potentially even do a loan with them, and then eventually make them bankable so that they can move into a traditional banking relationship. And we'll talk a little bit about those programs as we go along here. So everybody answered the poll earlier. There was definitely some interest about expansion. So one of the things that you want to think about, as you're doing that expansion plan, have you given some thought to updating your business plan? Or did you even do a business plan when you started? A business plan is a roadmap on where you're going to go and how you're going to get there. It doesn't mean that you write it and it sits on the shelf and collects dust. It's a living document, but things change. Nobody could have predicted the virus coming and messing up the business world as it has in the rest of the world. Nobody could have planned for that. So your business plan, you've made some adjustments. I'm sure you've all made adjustments on the fly dealing with COVID. So it's really important to think about. A lot of the clients that I work with, some of them annual update of their business plan or even more often than that. And then when they start to plan for expansions or changes, it's a great tool. And we can also help you with financial management, talking the process through. We're really good about that. Ken and I both have experience in multiple fields. So if you wanted to bounce ideas off somebody that was on the total outside, we're a great tool for that. And we can help you analyze and think about other things that you might want to think about in that process. But we also do some education around social media, pricing, marketing, and exit plans. We've been doing, Ken was very involved with Rock City, which was sold to their employees and now is an employee-owned company. And Ken and our team was a great part of that process of transferring ownership and getting people ready to become owners of a business that are through employees. Would you add anything to that, Ken?
Just a little couple of details. You fail to plan, you plan to fail. I discovered that working this out, and you do always, I talk to a lot of people that don't have plans, and it always tends to, well, I started a business without a plan. And it's a bad idea. I can tell you that from my own experience. So, but the plan, having a plan gives you a direction that you can understand and helps you make better decisions. I've also more than once talked to somebody and asked them, well, what's your profit and loss, and got a blank look. What we do more than anything else is we provide another set of eyes and a bunch of ways of things that we know about that we're pretty good suggesters. So another set of eyes is always useful. And besides that, we're free and we like doing it.
So we have a pretty good sized toolkit between the two of us, and we share that with our clients and help people get working through that process. And the biggest thing to remember with us, it doesn't matter where you are. When you come in, we'll start wherever you are and move you through the process and move you forward. And if we're not the right match for you, we're going to tell you and make you and help you get connected to the right match. Because sometimes what you may want to do is outside of our expertise, but we have other people that we work with that have great expertise in that area, and we can support you through that process. So on our business service side of Maine Stream Finance, the one-on-one technical assistance is what Ken and I do. As you heard from us, we're advisors. We make suggestions, bring you research, help you get connected. Simple things, even like if you're dealing with the state of Maine, you're having some trouble with licensing. Sometimes we can make a call and figure out what's going wrong and help you get that corrected. We also have business education. We both offer education classes. Anything from business 101 or turn your hobby into a business. Then we also have the Incubators Without Walls program, which is a 8 to 13 week program, depending on which series we use. Ken has his program down his way, and he's working on some new ones to bring. We're both bringing up some new courses that we're going to be able to help out with that will show up in the fall. Excuse me.
Yeah, the thing about everything changing in the world is that everything changes. So we're working on trying to fit what we have or the kind of assets that we might be able to bring to the table into current circumstances, which is not easy, but working at it.
So the other part of the services that we do, we're a micro lender. So we can loan as little as $500 up to $200,000. Depending on the amounts and what it's being used for, would align you with programs, because we're an SBA lender. So we can do SBA, we can do private lending money. We can also do FAME money. We're also known great for doing what's called gap financing. So if you go to a traditional lender and they'll only lend you 75% and you need another 20%, that's something that we do quite often. But that's where your business plan is going to come into play, because we're going to want to see, unless you're in an existing business, then we're going to want to see financials to help move that process forward. I'm currently working on a business up in my neck of the woods, up in Piscataquis County, that's going to be like a $450,000 business that this individual is buying, and we will most likely do part of the gap financing for them. But I've helped them with the business plan, helped them with the banking. That's what we do. So we're that bridge sometimes to help people along. So our business team in Maine Stream Finance, Chris Linder is our director, our chief executive officer. Matt Lewis handles our loans and portfolio. So if you were applying for a loan, you would be dealing with Matt, but we would help get you ready. Ken and myself are the other two, were the advisors, were the boots on the ground that you would deal with. So, and as you can see, we do a bunch of different things there. So in the other poll, a lot of you knew about all the SBA programs, knew about the SBDC programs, heard of micro lending. Maine Stream Finance is a micro lender. So that's a smaller loan, but we're certified by SBA to do that. The debt relief program is a SBA. If you do an SBA loan between now and I think it's September, certain payments will be made for you by the SBA in that micro loan. And there's some other variables depending on what time the loan was done, and I can get on a one-on-one level, we can get deeper into that. And grants such as the SBDC, SBA, and then others that will come out. There will, excuse me. Just kind of put a mental note in your calendar for the beginning of May to be looking for Maine Made. Is going to be offering a grant program, but the details aren't out yet. But mark your calendar because it will be due. The applications will be open on June 1st, I believe, is the latest date that I heard. So kind of put a note in your calendar for the beginning of May to be looking for that. If you haven't applied for the SBDC grants, definitely look into them. SBA, you've got some grant money that's related to the different programs and forgiveness. So FDAs are called Family Development Accounts. And what that is a match savings program. So for example, if you save $1,000 through this process, we'll match it with $4,000 to either open a business or expand a business. Yes, you need to qualify to be able to do that, but we'll help you through that process. And you'll have to do certain things to meet that criteria. But if that's something you're interested in, please reach out to me and we can set up an appointment to go through that paperwork with you. Other resources, we have different resources that we pull in. And I've been working with a team focused on Piscataquis County, but Washington and Hancock County is no different than Piscataquis County. So if you look at the grant prep packet, it breaks down all the current grants and programs and what you need to do to apply for them. And it's been updated 5 times at this point. Also, there is a video, if you follow that link through, there's a video. Excuse me. There's a video there of the meeting that we had, and we had SBA, we had Maine Economic Development, the SBDCs, all talking about all their programs on a webinar that we did about 3 weeks ago. So take a few minutes to watch that if you're interested in any of those programs.
I would say one thing about the SBA, their programs are a moving target. It keeps changing and evolving, sometimes daily, as things come down out of Washington. So, and you know, when we're on the list of, or at least I am, Jim is too, from the SBA. So we get the latest word. Sometimes a lot of latest words.
Ever changing.
Yeah, it's ever changing, and you can get really in the weeds. But there are people up there that we know who actually know where the weeds are. So,
yeah, and that's a great point. All the programs that we work with, we have that relationship, so we can go ask a direct question. You know, if you're not getting where, excuse me, what you need. So a couple examples of some of the stuff that we did, like that business I talked about. Rock City, Ken talked a little bit about. That was a great opportunity to help some employees become business owners. We've worked with people that are having cash flow issues, having financing issues, possibly, you know, so we can back them up there, or just being able to talk through your idea. It's nice to have somebody to bounce that off that isn't involved in your business to give you that feedback. And then we're always looking for new opportunities and options and available. You know, some of your businesses out there we may come across something that is a opportunity to work with a state government, local government, or federal government that they hadn't thought about. So helping them to get connected with those programs or other things, or how they're going to switch in directions with their business and changes with, you know, everything that's going on. There's been a constant change and re-evolving how people have to think about how they're going to get customers to their doorstep or their electronic doorstep through their website or e-store. Anything you'd add to that, Ken?
No, not really. It just always to me comes back about having the conversations and trying to pull in what we know or what we know somebody else knows. You know, I'm just as like Ed, you know, I could sometimes, you know, Chris Rector's the right one to ask for something. But we do it a lot and we do it all the time. So the context that we can apply doesn't mean necessarily that we're smart or I'm smart. It means that I probably know somebody who is.
That's very true. Our networks are vast. So questions that people have. And Kara, I think you're going to direct the questions.
Yeah, I've been perusing the chat. So far, we haven't had direct questions, but we do have one person on here who's looking to get a new hire up to speed and working on expanding some of their services. And I just wanted to see if maybe either one of you, Ken or Jim, could highlight sort of what it is exactly that they should be asking for when they are reaching out to you.
So when they're reaching out to us is giving us that background of what you're thinking about and where you're at and where you think you're going to go so that we can discuss those options. So like if you're doing a new direct hire, you may want to look at some of the tax credits that are out there for a new hire. But also if you have an education piece to it, you may want to think about one of the workforce investment boards so that you could leverage a practicum or a training, or they may pay for part of their training while they're working for you to subsidize the wage. So there's some different options out there, and we can help you get connected with those. If they're coming off the unemployment rolls, there's some other things, other programs that you can use and leverage. So there's lots of great options out there, but we're more than willing to help you get connected with those.
Yeah, Jim, that's great. Maybe now we're going to send out, or Jim is going to send to me the PowerPoint. So we'll be able to get that directly to you folks. So you'll have that to reference later on. But right now, maybe we can pull back to conversation mode where everybody shows up and we can stop sharing Jim's screen. And then everybody can sort of feel like we're in the room together as close as possible.
How's that? There we go.
Excellent. Oh, I see a few new people have come on. Great. Good to see you all. Let's see. Betsy says here, do you have a template for a comprehensive business plan for rewriting for the future?
Yes. I can answer that. No, because it doesn't work. But to make it using it, we have an outline. Jim and I have just worked on this darned outline for years, and it boils down to a bunch of bullet points. But I've never actually worked with anybody who's used one of those templates who've been able to get what they need out of it. So the thing to do is just ask. We're there. We can work with it. I'll send that. We'll send that outline to anybody. And all you have to really do is answer what the points each one of those makes, and the business plan will just form itself.
And we can even set you up in Google Documents if you don't have Microsoft Word or anything like that.
Oh, sure.
I set people up in Google Documents with their own directory with all those templates in, including all your financial templates, so that you have a starting point. And the advantage, if you use Google Documents, you can share it back with me or Ken, and we're able to hop on when you tell us you're ready to have us look at it, and we can give you feedback.
Excellent. Yeah, the request was to send the bullet point outline or even a link to a Google Doc that folks are able to look at. However you folks like to sort of transmit that, I'm happy to pass that along to the group afterwards.
And also there's a bunch of documents that I uploaded at the beginning of the chat. So there's a copy of the PowerPoint and some brochures and some other information.
Does everybody see those? I just want to make sure. No, I think if you put things on prior to people joining, they can't see them. I think.
Oh,
is that
okay.
True? Would you want to repost them, Jim, in the chat, or would you like me to do that?
Go ahead, and if you want to repost them, that's fine, or we can send them out as an attachment to an email, whatever.
You know what? I'll send them out as an email attachment, because then people can download them and have them show up right on their desktop. So I'll do that. And then we had one other question, well, a couple of other questions. One of them was, where does the financing for Maine Stream Financing, like where is your funding for the organization to run? Where does that come from?
How much time do you have?
Well, it comes from multiple sources. We're funded by SBA, we're funded by banks, we're funded by grants that we've received to do certain particular things like financial education or business development. Recently, we received a nice grant from TD Bank North to do financial coaching and training and train trainers so that people are working in group homes or working in the prison system. We're in the process of developing a program to train their people to work with financial education in those situations. So it's many different sources. Penguins is a large organization, so we have a team that writes for grants for us, and but it's a excuse me, a multiple sources of revenue to do what we're doing.
Let's see here. Chris says that he has a couple of businesses that have been working with that in the last stages of working through bankruptcies. As a result, they do not qualify for PPP or SBA programs. Do you have any ability to lend to businesses in those circumstances?
There is always a possibility. We would have to dive deep into the situation. How old the bankruptcy is would have a variance on that. But
Yeah, how far away, what kind of bankruptcy is it? How close are you to getting rid of it? But Chris, you know where to find me.
So just refer, maybe Chris can refer folks to you folks. Is that sort of the best?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds
Wouldn't be
good.
the
Chris,
first
you can
time.
always chat with us. You know that you've done that for many years. So.
Great question, Chris. Thank you, though. That is a really good question. We have another one. If someone is starting a new business, where should the potential owner start with their local government to understand regulations, or is it with Maine Stream Finance to develop a plan?
Well, part of your plan is going to look at those regulations on the local level, state level, and federal level if they apply. So starting with us is a great option. We can kind of map out some things after we know what you want to do for a business, and then connect you with the right agencies that you might need to be connected with. Ken, go.
Sometimes it's fairly complicated, but usually not. Most of the time, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Excellent. Are there any other questions? I mean, at this point too, people can feel free to take themselves off mute and just in real time ask their questions too, if that's easier. Sometimes it's easier than chatting.
And if you don't feel comfortable here to do that, you're more than willing to reach out to us anytime, and we can set up a time to meet with you. That, we're here, we're flexible. I offer business hours for me. I'm the oddball in the group of Maine Stream. I have client meetings from 5 o'clock in the morning to 9 at night, Monday through Wednesday. So, and then some Sunday morning meetings with clients. Up where I live, I deal with a lot of truckers and loggers. So it's nothing to see a log truck parked in front of my house right now with them dropping paperwork off for me to help them. So, and there's no charge. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, Jim. I was going to say, I'm curious what you're seeing as the business climate in the last couple of 3 months, as we've been a long time into the pandemic, and we've had some relief packages, and we're hoping that there'll be a little more relief that might be coming from the federal government. But I'm just curious what your take is, and if we're seeing survivors, and mostly survivors, or if they're people really just hanging on by their fingernails.
Well, I think it's a real mix of both those that are hanging on. I talked with a business last week that's going to close their doors because they can't survive. But other businesses are thriving and putting people on. So it really depends on where you are on that spectrum. I'm sure you're seeing, some businesses are just thriving and looking for more people, and other ones just don't have. The bar business, the restaurant business, the bakery, all those are just barely hanging on, or if not closing. And then childcare facilities, through all the things that have happened, I've been working with a lot of those. So it's a wide mix. You know, some businesses are just gangbusters and others are not. It's a tough time no matter which end of the spectrum you're on.
I have a health food store. It's not a co-op. It's just, it's a family business that's had the best year she's ever had. And I got a couple of other people that I've been working for. They're doing really pretty well. Mostly they're in the food business, either retail or wholesale, the ones that I know about. But my own thinking about this, and I've been trying to think about it a lot, is that the only thing that I'm sure about, and I say this, nobody can be sure about anything, or at least I can't, is that I have a feeling that the new normal, when it arrives, is not going to resemble the old normal. So that the strategies that we're going to have to try and put together are strategies that we don't really know what's going to happen or how it's going to look. But I do know that life changed in America between during the Spanish flu, between the end of World War I and the beginning of the 20s. In 4 or 5 or 6 years, things changed really radically for a lot of reasons. Some of them technical, but some of them also cultural, and those are going to apply. There's a lot of stresses and a lot of strains, and it's really kind of hard to guess. And one of the things that I'm trying to put together is to try to get people, some of the same people in a room, or at least a Zoom room, to kind of address that, because it's nobody. I think anybody who says they know what's going to happen is somebody you probably shouldn't listen to.
Thanks for the answer.
Yeah, we have, we're going to, I guess I forgot to say this at the beginning, but we have to end a little early today at 12:50, just because there's quite a few of us in the room that have the same next meeting that we have to go to. But I did want to just put this out there right now that if there are any other questions, actually Jim and Ken both, can you folks put your email addresses in the chat so people can just copy and paste that into an email if they're so motivated to directly email you folks after this call and make it easy for them to do so. And we have had a couple of other comments from people that, so that this is a great resource and they wish they had known about it several years ago, but they're so glad that it's here now, and that they know about it, and they'll take some of the further developed the programs that are to support further developed businesses. I'm sure they'll take those into consideration as they're moving their own business forward.
Yep. Keep an eye on our website. We post classes up on our website when we get them. And like I said, a lot of stuff is headed for fall updates, but we may be doing some one-night seminars. Ken and I both tend to teach more in the evening than the daytime. Just because of people's work schedule and running your business, it's hard to take time off sometimes to be able to do that. And I appreciate all the time that you took off to be here today.
Yeah, we know it's a big, thank you for saying that, Jim, because it is, we know it's a big lift for businesses to take time out in the middle of the day to be able to attend these sorts of, this sort of programming. There's no good time during the course of a day to offer something like this. It's just another thing for a lot of small businesses to add to the to-do list. So yeah. I did have a question for both Ken and Jim both. Is there what is the flow of workshops? How do you folks sort of attach that to the calendar year, and what do you take cues from when you're planning your workshops and the time of year?
Well, I know on my side, the ones that I teach, some of them are very seasonal because people don't normally take education during the summertime. So usually in the fall, it's a startup of a business 101, and then it might turn into your side hustle or your hobby to a business, and then into the Incubators Without Walls class to build a business plan. And then after the first of the year, normally I would do it again. This year didn't work that way because of everything going on. It ended up being more one-on-one sessions with people to get them through that same process.
Yeah, I haven't done any for a while because I tend to put them up by instinct, and which has told me this is really the wrong time to be doing it. So I'm not exactly sure, and I'm not exactly sure how I would, at least for a while, because it's going to be pretty tough to get people together in a room, and and which is a really good way to do it, because if you got 6 or 8 or 10 or even 4 people, the conversations usually work out pretty well. But I think the best thing to do, I mean, if you're interested, just talk to us. That's our job, and we the problem with classes is the same as the problem. It's not as bad as the problem with is with business plan. Is that in one size again doesn't fit everybody, and so I like I think that some of the highest value that we've been able to bring has been one-on-one, as well as the classes. Sometimes they're really good too, and because then you hear the stories and you hear other people's stories, and the narratives themselves can be really informative.
And I'm really glad that you just highlighted the, the welcoming of one-on-one, because I think sometimes people feel, I know I do with things, but feel a little bit like they're asking too much when they're reaching out one-on-one, rather than kind of being a part of a group and all coming to one of you folks asking for, one thing, or collectively, if there's a group asking for one thing, that it's better use of your time, but hearing that one-on-one is deeply encouraged, I think should be encouraging to the group. And so thank you for highlighting that.
We prefer it.
And a lot of times out of the classes, you'll end up with those clients that want to go deeper or need the support long-term, and they turn into one-on-one clients. Both of us have carried many people for many years, and still, through their thought process, starting and now they're in business, we continue to be that support for them.
So I had one business that I counted it. Actually, I didn't really mean to, but I was working on the database a little bit, and I counted it, and then I looked at it, and I had met with them or talked to them about something on the order of 40 times over the course of 3 years, and we still talk, by the way, once or twice a year. I'm kind of, on his sort of board, I guess, advisory board, and which I thought was, and the business, by the way, is really working. It's still working well. I don't take a whole lot of credit for that, but I take a little bit.
That's great. Do we have any other questions here from any of the attendees? Or if you feel like it, feel free to put it in the chat too. Well, if not, it's 12:49 and we can end a little early today, but I really want to thank both Jim and Ken for coming on here and taking time out of their Friday. And looks like Chris is saying yes to that too.
Yeah, it's my day off, actually.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Neither one of us work on Fridays, mostly, usually. But it's okay. I mean, life is what it is, and it's sort of actually pretty easy with Zoom, because I got stuff that I'm working on behind me. I can stop, and do this and get back to it.
And the other part, I don't know if we mentioned too, is that we're both entrepreneurs ourselves as well, and have been. You know, I've been in it in my personal business for well over 20 years. Ken has his art business that he's involved with, you know, and then so I come from an entrepreneurial family. So, you know, weird hours and crazy schedules are just normal life. And I know many of you can accept that. So.
And I have done my own startup and worked for some reasonably complicated other startups over the course of developing some mileage.
And
I'm looking at Chris chuckling. Chris and I have known each other for, years.
I would encourage any of you to share the information about Maine Stream with other businesses so that we can assist them in any way that they need assistance with. Our cost is one of the best costs. It's free, but it's well worth your time and effort to invest in your business. Sometimes it's hard to take out of your business time to improve your business and work on your business while you're trying to run your business. But it's important to do that to help move your business forward.
Thank you for those final words, Jim. That it's so true. It is hard to take time out of your day, but it usually ends up paying back tenfold. So hopefully all of the attendees today found a program that might be the right fit for them now or in the future. And again, I encourage you to reach out to both Jim and Ken. And I thank all of you for being here today. This recording will be posted to our YouTube channel, and all of the documents that Jim started out the conversation with will be sent to you folks, including the PowerPoint presentation. So thank
Chris,
you all so much.
Go ahead and be in touch about that, the bankruptcy thing.
Excellent. Perfect.
And thank you, everybody, and have a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you, folks. Have a great weekend. Thanks, everyone, for coming.
You're very welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.